May I offer the graduates the opportunity to stand and turn your back to me and thank your family and friends for bringing you to this day. I'm sure the parents will understand with me as I look out at the young doctors that one of the truisms of higher education is every year they stay the same age and I get older. Grand Marshal Murray called me to the podium to give a closing charge to the graduates in this free and ordered space of a university with green grass growing on our academic quadrangles. And in some ways, a university is a bubble where you can be walled off from the world, protected and nurtured for a period of time before being sent back into the world. And then in that free and ordered space, gunshots in Texas puncture the bubble, and the world intrudes on a happy day. My dear young doctors, we wish we had the power to protect you from the world, and we don't. The world insists on intruding on this free and ordered space. And therefore, we all recognize that this is yet another day of mourning from yet another act of violence. We further recognize that for some of our faith traditions, it is customary to temper celebration with a reminder of sadness, but we'd surely rather not. May the memory of the innocent children and teachers, first responders, grocery store customers, church and synagogue and mosque and temple goers and subway riders and all of those innocents whose lives have been lost be remembered, and may for all of them their memories be for a blessing. This college was founded in 1860. It is a 162-year-old community of scholars that exists for the generation, conservation, and dissemination of knowledge about the causes, prevention, and treatment of human disease and disability. Touro University was chartered in 1971 and is a 51-year-old university which provides educational opportunities and career paths to talented and motivated students, and has always shown particular attention to those who have been overlooked and underserved by higher education, but whom we know have the drive and the potential to succeed. New York Medical College has adapted to the times whilst remaining true to its core values. In Bryant Park in Manhattan, behind the 42nd Street Library, there is a large statue which honors the founder of this college, William Cullen Bryant. We know where he stood in the 1850s. Bryant thought that the great oppressors of the American people were racism, sexism, unbridled business avarice, and the scourge of alcoholism. His response to what he perceived as a fourfold threat was to advocate for the emancipation of the slaves and full voting rights for women, to support the rights of workers to form trade unions, collectively bargain, and if necessary strike, a view which was supported by his colleague Abraham Lincoln, and the prohibition of alcohol. To Bryant, these proposals were all of a piece When he established New York Medical College, it was in his time and remains in our time a bastion against bigotry in health education and health care. The founder of Touro University, Bernard Lander, as a graduate student in sociology at Columbia University in the 1940s, wrote his doctoral thesis on the causes and preventive regimens of youth gang violence amongst the minority communities of Baltimore. New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia created a Committee on Unity by mayoral executive order in February 1944 for the purpose, quote, to make New York City a place where people of all races and religions may work and live side by side in harmony and have mutual respect for each other, and where democracy is a living reality, close quote. Lander was a staff researcher for that committee, and I might well imagine that William Cullen Bryant and Bernard Lander would have much to agree upon. New York Medical College and Touro University are defenders of respect for all, and we are a place where there are no hyphenated people or patients. For our caregivers, there never are, there never shall be such a thing as an illegal or undocumented patient. Human beings are not and will never be illegal. And when human beings are ill, what they are our fellow humans in need of our help. We have learned painfully that discrimination against people by trying to place the blame for a pandemic upon them for their race or religion, whether in ancient times or the present, was, is, and remains evil. We have learned that othering people is wrong. Labeling any group as other and asserting that they don't belong here is a serious evil, and we have tragically seen over and over and again this month that othering via so-called replacement theory reminds us that words can kill. In 1867, this School of Medicine graduated Emily Stowe, the first licensed female physician of Canada, after she was rejected on the basis of gender by Canadian universities. In 1870, we graduated Susan Smith McKinney Stewart, the first black woman to get an MD in the state of New York and the third in the United States. In 1921, Israel Simon Kleiner, a diabetes researcher, became dean of this School of Medicine. He was the first Jewish dean of a historically majority medical school in the United States. In 1926, Mary Stark was appointed the first woman chair of a basic science department of any U.S. medical school. In 1933, Myra Adele Logan, graduate, would become the first woman to do open heart surgery and the second black woman to be elected to the American College of Surgeons. In 1967, Jane Cook Wright, class of 1945, became the first black woman to be named dean of a historically majority medical school in the United States. In 1978, Kathleen Morton became this college's president, one of the first woman presidents of a historically male higher education institution. This college has a very proud history of inclusiveness and a tradition we carry on today. Over the past 60 years, this campus has grown schools which grant the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Dental Surgery, Philosophy, Physical Therapy, and Public Health, Master of Science in the Biomedical Sciences, Bioethics, Biostatistics, Clinical Laboratory Medicine, Speech Pathology, Public Health, and certificates of competency in multiple disciplines. and we have developed robust programs of graduate medical education and dental education and continuing education. And we are proud to say that all of these programs have welcomed all students of all backgrounds. At this institution, we shall defend the proposition that this is a world simply filled of our fellow humans, all members of the human family, and sometimes are in need of prompt, expert, and humane care. And sometimes we shall be the ones in need of that care, and we shall treat others as we should expect to be treated ourselves. We know where the founders of Touro and New York Medical College stood. We know where we stand. And just like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved. Dear graduates, the faculty has sought ardently to educate. You have sought ardently to learn. We arrive at this day together in partnership. We are proud of what we have jointly achieved. While you have been with us, we have striven to impart both values and knowledge, because wisdom occurs at the confluence of knowledge and values. We confidently send you forth, well prepared for the challenges posed by your respective disciplines. And as you go forward, I charge you to commit yourselves to the highest professional and ethical standards, to render to each person the dignity that is rightfully theirs, to remember that you are stewards of the connected human family, to be compassionate to those in need, and to remember with pride New York Medical College and Touro University as we shall proudly remember you. Godspeed on your journey, young doctors of New York Medical College.